Hey guys, welcome to Big Loz Official. Uncle Loz here with Coach H, and today we're going to take a look at a warm-up routine for the lower body before things like squats, deadlifts, etc. Okay, Coach H, what are we looking at today?
We're going to look at three things. Firstly, we're going to activate the glutes, then we're going to activate the core, then we're going to mobilize the hips and the knees.
Let's take a look.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is just some glute activation. So Laurence is going to put on the mini band just above his knees, and we're going to go through 3 exercises to get his glutes fired up. So
sure I'm going to get this above my knees?
Let's hope so, yeah. So step into that.
You can cut me getting into this.
No. This is important.
Okay, we got it on. We're good.
Okay, so Laurence is going to lie on his back now, and we're going to fire up all 3 glutes. So his glute max to really get his hips extended, okay, and his glute med and glute min, which is going to stabilize his pelvis and also work on internal and external rotation. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to do a glute bridge. So just bridging up and down 15 times. Okay, so when he's doing this, he's keeping his core tensed, and he's just going to where he feels his glutes locked, no further. If he starts going too far up, he's going to start overextending at the lower back. So he just wants to lock his glutes and then go back down. Now, why this is important, every time you finish off that squat or you finish off that deadlift, your glutes should be extending your hips. If they're asleep or if they're not working, you're going to be missing out on a lot of strength, also the safety of the lift. So the next one we're going to look at, okay, we're going to look at abduction. So you're going to bridge up, hold the bridge, and just knees are going to come in and out. So he's going to be burning through here.
It burns.
So when he's in that bottom of the squat, he wants his hips and his femurs out, okay? If they're caving in, or if you notice when you're squatting, your knees are caving in like that, it could be a sign that these muscles in your glutes aren't working like they should be.
Really starts to burn.
Okay, and the last one now, again, similar to what we were just speaking about, you're going to turn your feet in and you're just going to do a frog pump there. So now he's bridging, so his hips are extending, but his femurs are in more of an externally rotated position. So when you're in the bottom of that squat there, they want to be nice and open. And also a good little circuit to get a better looking butt.
Oh yeah, I can feel that peachy
feel your
butt coming.
bum burning?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so the second thing we're going to look at is just activating the core. So the first exercise Laurence is going to do, he's just going to do like a hollow rock in a half position. So if he keeps one foot by his bum, one leg straight, holding his opposite shoulders, he's going to raise up, both feet up, and then just get a rocking motion without coming out of that crunch there. So he's just bracing through here and getting his abs burning a little bit. So go 10 each side on that. Wants to focus on keeping this quad locked, or now this quad locked, okay? And keeping that, as soon as he feels that lower back hit the floor, he's back up. And once he does 10 each side, it'll be starting to burn through his abs there. So keeping that rib cage down. Okay, so the next thing, we're just gonna go into a dead bug, but just with the legs. So feet up at 90-90, okay? All he's gonna do here is extend one leg, back, and then the other, while he's tensing or bracing his abs, because that's what we're going to be doing when we're squatting or deadlifting. We're going to be moving through the hips, moving through the knees, but trying to maintain that braced core there. So don't just go through the motions, flicking them out, and then really think about taking a deep breath in, bracing, hold that brace as you extend the leg.
For slow, controlled movement.
Slow, so he's only going to do 5 each side, okay? And he'll be feeling it. So, good, keep that heel up. Okay, now get that as close to the floor, so we're opening up that hip. Good, perfect. So his core staying braced, moving through his hip flexors. If you feel your lower back starting to jump away from the floor, you might need to make it a little bit easier, and we'll show you how to do that in a second, okay? Because that means you're sort of losing it and your lower back's really kicking in, and you're going to start overextending the anterior bit of your core. So if that's too hard, you can just keep your feet bent there like you were, okay? Big brace, and just let your heel drop, just one side at a time. So just let your heel drop, back in, keeping that brace there. So, and you can almost do a check yourself. So if he puts his hand in his lower back, you can feel if you're coming away from it or not.
Yeah, you don't want to be pushing your hips up there.
No. Okay, so from there we're just going to move to a plank. So he's going to spin round. And this is also important. So the plank is kind of your finishing position in your squat or your deadlift. So what I mean by that is when you finish there, if you're deadlifting, your quads want to be locked, your glutes want to be locked. And that's what he's going to be doing when he's holding the plank there. So he's not going to be overextending, okay, because that's what we're doing here. We've got gravity trying to pull us into extension and we're resisting that. So I'm just going to lock his glutes, tense his abs there and maintain that position. So if he was going into a squat, he's locked there, not overextended in that position. So, going to come up, tense the quads, lock the glutes, and he's on. Perfect. And if you do this, you'll feel it more through your core, you know, or your abs, I should say. A lot of people sometimes they hold the plank and they feel it all in their lower back. If he relaxes his glutes and you see that sink there, that's not really what we want there. That means his quads aren't on, his glutes aren't on, and he'll be feeling more through his lower back there, his QLs, his lower back muscles, rather than his anterior core there. From there, we're just going to move into a side plank and work the obliques. So, drive the hips up, lock the glutes, chin up, looking straight ahead. Again, you want to imagine like you're standing in a neutral position. If anything's looking down or crunching to either side, we're getting away from that neutral position there. From here, he's working that bottom oblique. That's firing hard, keeping his hips up. He'll also be working a little bit of his glute med. Right, spin round, opposite side. Drive the hips up, lock your glutes. Perfect. And all these exercises, they're just to get everything firing. You know, he's just going to hold it maybe 15 seconds each side, maybe a 15-second plank. Like I said, 10 rocks each side, 5 dead bugs each side. That'll be perfect. You just want to get it firing and working before we go into the bigger lifts.
So the last thing we're going to do before your squat deadlift sessions is mobilize the hips. Now, for people that really struggle with hitting depth, this is a real good simple movement to do to get yourself used to squatting into the deep position. So all we're going to do, a rack or a bar, something that's secure that you can hold on to. Going to grasp your hands around, get yourself in your normal squat stance position. So for me, slightly wider than shoulder width, and make sure my knees and toes track in line with each other. I'm going to hold on and I'm going to squat down. Use the bar to kind of keep your balance. Focus on pushing those knees out and opening up those hips. Keep your back and chest up. And you should feel a good stretch on the inside of the legs. Take a deep breath and then just try and sink down a little deeper. And then we're going to start mobilizing the hips by just bringing one knee in and out 8 times. Same with the other leg. And then finally we'll do both legs together for 8 reps. So in and out. And then we'll take another deep breath and just sink down a little bit deeper. And just try and make sure you maintain your back position. Try not to round over like this. We're trying to make sure that chest stays high. Keep the stretch on the legs. Now you can stay in this position from anything to 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I've used it very effectively in the past with clients that just struggle to hit depth. It's just a gentle movement. If you can only go as far as this to start with, hold that position, deep breath, exhale, and then push those knees out to the side and just try and sink down. Eventually, your mobility is going to improve over time. The final 2 things are some movement-based exercises that Coach H is going to put you through.
Okay, so the last 2 things we're going to look at are just going through the movements. Okay, so we're going to take a goblet squat and a hinged movement there. So I've got a 10 kilo dumbbell here. And from here, we've activated the glutes, we've activated the core, we've stretched out the hips and knees, and now we're just going to put it all together. So from there, we're going to go into our squat, keeping the knees open. A good little guide I like to use, just your elbows should land kind of just on the inside of your knees there. Drive up, glutes and quads on. Okay, so bum back, knees out, drive up. You can do sort of 10 of these. And once we've done, say, 10 of those, then we can just go more to the hips and a hinging movement. So feet come in a little bit, soft bend of your knee, push your bum back, tilting at the hips, drive through, lock the glutes and quads. Soft bend, hinge, load up the hamstrings and the glutes, drive through. When we're hinging, again, same as the squat, and try not to let the knees cave together, keep them out. You can almost imagine you've got a bit of a mini band around the tops of your knees, load up the hamstrings, the glutes, and then bring them through.
Okay, so there you go guys, a quick simple routine for before you're squatting and deadlifting to make sure that the lower body is effectively and efficiently warmed up. Remember, we're not trying to become gymnasts here. You need enough mobility to perform your movements effectively, and obviously we want to make sure all the muscle groups that we're going to be using are switched on and ready for action.
While you're here guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.